I'm sort of colloquial known as your donor-conceived person of TikTok. I'm a sperm donor baby. And so what I do is essentially expose how the fertility industry actually works, because it is unbelievably unethical. It is founded in eugenics. It's famously racist. And it's really bad. And so trying to get regulations passed.
So can I ask, these regulations, the concept of a sperm bank,
Mm-hmm.
is there a viable version of it?
Oh yeah,
there is.
Absolutely.
Okay, I see.
We are massively behind. There are so many other countries that have basic safeguards. We're asking for the equivalent of a seatbelt. For example, there isn't a cap on how many babies can be made from one donor. I don't feel like that's rocket science to add in. That's not gonna end a sperm bank.
So other countries have this sperm, you can only make 10 babies?
The UK has what's called a 10-family limit. So one donor is only allowed to donate for 10 families.
Wow. Now, has anyone here given sperm?
Are one of you my father?
I think we talked about it, but I don't think I'm not in a place to do it yet.
What does that
to
mean?
give sperm?
Have either of you taken a DNA test?
No.
No.
You might be donor. Well, okay, Gianmarco.
Wait, we might be donors?
You might be donor conceived. But Gianmarco.
You mean our parents didn't tell us? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, very easily. I talk to donor conceived people all the time who found out when they were 50 years old.
That'd be the greatest day of my entire life.
Okay. Well, Gianmarco, I know how you talk about your father and how he, is a little loosey-goosey. It sounds like your father...
What a word to capture the unethicalness of my father.
I feel like your father easily could have been a sperm donor.
Oh my God, you're saying I have siblings out there?
Very
More
easily.
Siblings.
I could totally see that.
You're right. That's not insane.
No.
You needed some money in
Did you
college
ever
to get
think
to
about
Woodstock.
donating sperm?
No. If I don't have kids, I think a part of me that would be nice to be oh, there's me out there somewhere. You wouldn't think it wouldn't be cool at all. You're 70.
No.
You're walking
This
around.
is so disturbing as a
No.
donor conceived person to listen to.
So
because
insight
it's
into
all
the doctor's minds.
It's just so disturbing that it's you're looking at us oh, my narcissism will live on.
Yeah.
You sound literally this is what the doctors who switch out the sperm say.
Okay.
That's literally what they say.
But if it's done ethically, is it okay to be oh, it's cool. I like the idea of me continuing on. Is that even that thought? That's inherent.
I would say pick a different hobby.
Sure.
Maybe a different stream of income.
Aim elsewhere.
If your first thought isn't I'd like to help out other families, then I would keep it for yourself.
That was going to be my secondary thought, to be fair. And you found out at what age did you
14.
know? 14.
14. Wow.
14.
I forgot it was
late.
game.
That was, for my age, that's incredibly progressive, but it's incredibly progressive. Most people my age never, because I'm 20. Sure, let's keep going with it. Because I literally yesterday just turned 36. And so, thank you.
You're not the oldest one on this panel here.
Oh, okay.
Russell's 45.
Oh, I'm not. You always aged me so much higher.
So you have to reveal the real one.
So basically, for my age group, that's incredibly progressive because most of the doctors at the time, when I was made, not conceived, made, felt like a Toyota, so don't get it wrong. But all of the doctors were telling our parents, don't tell your child they're donor conceived. That was literally medical standard practice up until about 2010.
Were there any, when you were growing up, were you oh, no one ever said I look like did people say to you, you look like your dad? Or your dad wasn't there?
No, my dad was there. My dad
Your dad was there?
Oh, yeah, my dad.
Oh.
I texted him yesterday. Yeah, no, he's there. He's my father.
But were there, looking back, pre-14, were there any oh,
Yeah.
I didn't have that in common, or oh.
Everybody assumed that I was Jewish.
Uh-huh.
That was sort of the ding something, because I was I'm not Jewish, I'm Catholic. What are you talking about?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was the big thing, because even when I was I talk about this in my stand-up, but when I was 12 years old, some jerk kid ran up to me and was how'd you escape from the camps?
Oh my God.
I didn't know what that meant. I was 12, so all I said was I faked a fever and my mom picked me up.
I mean, it's one thing to learn that you're a donor baby, but then at the same time to also learn you're a Jew. That is a tough slate.
Okay, I will say my donor is not just Jewish. This is completely true. He is, I have found him. He is an OBGYN Orthodox Rabbi Moyle.
Wow.
I've written to him a few times. He has not gotten back.
Wait, so an OBGYN, that's, forgive me, you answer so I don't look like an idiot.
What do you mean?
What do they cover?
No, what is it,
Vaginas.
Gianmarco? Tell
Vaginas.
us.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Vaginas.
But it's kind of funny to be like, yeah, I specialize in vaginas, also baby penises. I'll also cut a little bit off a baby penis. It feels just like...
He's very genital focused.
How old
Yeah.
is he?
I don't know. I mean, I believe he's probably late 60s, early 70s,
You've
I believe.
never fully talked to him, though.
No, I've never talked to him. He has, both me and one of my donor-conceived siblings have reached out to him, and he has not gotten back to us. I'm sure he's just like, I will not verify that he did this. He's also a real shit dude. So, like, I stalked him on Facebook. He's a shit guy.
Politically.
Politically, yes.
He's voting for Biden? We're joking. So RFK. We're an RFK podcast. Okay. So as we do this live, we wanted our guests to bring something specific, and one thing that you've been talking about or exploring recently. Are they called super donors? Is that what they're called?
Ew, no, don't give them too much of a platform. They're called serial donors.
Oh.
Serial donors.
No,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't help. I know it's childish, but
okay,
the word
you
cereal, I
understand.
think of cereal
They're
and then
gonna
enough cum
listen
to fill up the
this.
cereal.
They're going to listen to that and literally put that on a fucking t-shirt now.
Yeah.
They're going to
Super donors,
quote
Gianmarco
you.
Soresi.
They're going to put you now on their website and be like, Gianmarco approved super donors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
So serial donors.
Yes.
Now, so this is someone who donates just a shitload. All
Just
over
a
the place.
shitload. Most of these guys are quote unquote freelance. They donate through Facebook. Many of them go on what's called sperm tours and literally travel the world impregnating people.
Impregnating.
Oh, don't worry. This is going to get worse.
Impregnating at a sperm bank or
No, God,
Oh.
no. They impregnate completely freelance. Most of these guys push what's called natural insemination. We can all guess what that means. They make the woman like get a hotel room. And because what they insist is that natural insemination heightens the chance of pregnancy versus artificial insemination, which is not true. That's never been proven. And like all doctors who've done research on this have been like, that's bullshit.
What's
so
their
this
pitch?
is done through Facebook?
Yes, there's huge Facebook groups. One of them has 30,000 members.
Oh my God. There's women
Yeah, this
young
is my
enough
question.
to have kids on Facebook. It just seems like such an old person
What's
thing
the
now.
pitch exactly? Because
To be fair, the pitch is actually, I will say, I understand why this exists. And this is a problem that the fertility industry has caused. The fertility industry is insanely expensive. One vial of sperm can run easily $2,000. And you have to remember, no. It gets worse.
millions slip through my fingers.
Oh my God. Oh, the money down the drain.
You don't get the $2,000.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't get that. Okay.
Wow, we were like,
No.
just were seeing our bank account.
I
God.
mean, I think the fact that they're charging $2,000 is insane too. Like, no one should charge more for sperm than we do for saffron. I mean,
Yes.
saffron takes hours of manual labor plucking flower petals. Like, to get sperm, all you need is Wi-Fi. Like, this is not hard. But okay, so usually sperm donors in the United States get paid about $100 to $150 per donation.
Okay.
Then what the sperm banks do is they don't take that one lump donation and sell it. They break it up into multiple sellable vials, depending on how much mass the donor is able to donate and how fertile he is. So we've heard. And
Wait, can I just ask, if one do they weigh it and you get it per gram? Like, do they pay you for one load? And it's
Or
just
is
like
it
a lot or a little.
Internal, like
they
sperm
pay
count.
you for one load. So you would get for your load, no matter how much you donate.
If
you
I
get
was
100
bringing
to
the load over, I'd be
150.
like, oh God, I need some help holding this load up. Maybe an extra 20. This feels.
Unfortunately, they do test it out, but they can split a vial of sperm, again, depending on the mass and how fertile you are, between 3 vials, but the highest we've heard is 19. So you might get $100 to $150 per that donation, but they easily, for every single one of those vials, can sell it for $2,000 each.
So because of that,
yes,
some guys have said, here's a market.
And we won't charge. And on top of it as well, there's a lot of racism in the industry, So right now, even into this day, only 2 to 5% of active donors in the United States are black. So, and if you go into donor catalogs, even right now, which you totally can with any major cryobank, you can see how little the diversity is. It's a huge problem. We've had recipient parents of color trying to find donors that match their family's ethnicity. They are unable to find it, so they end up having to choose a white donor. What does that sound like? And so they use these online private Facebook groups to find a donor that matches their ethnicity and that isn't going to end up costing, because you can drop $10,000 on donor conception like that. Most of the times, and that doesn't even include IVF, if you have to do IUI, any of those things.
Okay, so these guys
that's the pitch.
Make a group and they say, now are they charging for this?
Usually, a lot of them, I would say, don't.
So they're just going around.
Usually they say you just have to pay for my travel, my hotel room. Some of them do, but most of them do it completely for free.
The love of the game.
Usually they do it because for them, this is just part of their breeding kink. Like they're getting paid.
Yeah, I can listen. I can see why. No, I mean, but it's clear.
Can, yeah.
But so for them, do when they talk about it, I mean, are these just guys who just want to have sex, or are these guys that have a breeding kink, as you said, like they love the idea?
I would say it depends. I think some of them just think, oh, cool. But I think there are some that have, there are serial donors that have 80 children globally, 130, over 500. I feel safe in saying that maybe we might be looking at a breeding kink. And I also, I feel also safe in saying some of them kind of hate women.
Sure.
I kind of do.
So, and this isn't me, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate here.
Sure.
But my question is in any respect, would there be let's say insulin costs a lot of money and they can make insulin on their own. Basically they're able to offer something that this person is looking for. So is there what makes it unethical? I can understand the concept of you're making 500. There's something fucked up about it.
Accidental incest definitely on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which has happened in our community.
Really?
Oh, yeah. If you actually look it up, if you type in, I'm actually even quoted in the article as well. I got this story to CNN. But if you type in Google CNN Victoria Hill, it'll pop up. It was the very first donor conceived person to come forward as a victim of accidental incest. She found out literally last year that her high school sweetheart of 2 years was her half-brother. And there's more cases of it, but she was the very first one to come forward. She was incredibly brave. But yeah, no, that was a rough one.
Okay, so that's a point against it for sure.
One strike.
One strike.
One strike. I would say to make it ethical is it has to be legally done. You can do donor conception outside of the industry, but there is a legal protocol that you have to take.
And the reasons for the legal, I imagine there's health history is important to have.
Well, the health history, yes, that 100% that is, but that isn't part of, I would say, that is saying that that's part of the legal. That doesn't make it a legal donor conception. To make it a legal,
but that's why you want it to be legal. It's like. So why should this industry be something that functions within the law?
Yes. No, we want to regulate the fertility industry so that recipient parents and donor conceived people have access to an updated medical history, so that there's an actual family limit, so that doctors aren't able to sexually assault their patients and get away with it. Absolutely. But in terms of making it a legal donor conception outside of the industry, it's more about the actual correct procedure to terminate parental rights for the donor. And to ensure that recipient parents can't come back and try and get child support.
So is that what's happening with some of these guys?
Yes. I mean, so what is happening is if you don't do a legal donor conception, that donor is technically the real parent. The legal parent. So what also then you have another layer on top of it. During this like fun political time we are in where like, you know, a little bit of queer phobic here, you could be in a state that doesn't really recognize queer rights. And if that donor doesn't have actual, like their parental rights haven't been severed enough, you have now opened up yourself for a donor to come in and take custody. Or hypothetically, what if that donor dies and and his parents in their mourning are like, we want that kid?
And has this happened?
These kinds of things have happened where, yes.
And like I would imagine in a healthy legal system, you'd be like, well, Your Honor, he's part of the Facebook group. I'm just fucking so you can have the baby. Yeah. But this doesn't work that way. It basically completely opens you up for a legal nightmare. And that's the thing. Like it's like no. The parental rights need to be severed with the donor. And it's like we love open communication with the donor and the recipient parents. That's great. Give updated health information, but for God's sakes, like make it legal. Like, and that means you can't have sex with your fucking donor. That completely terminates everything. If you have sex with the donor in the United States, then that throws any legal agreement out the window. Wow. Could there? And there's obviously they're pitching it. They're like, it's better for the baby if it's straight from the source.
That you have a higher chance of pregnancy.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. They love to say that. They love to sound like experts.
Now, last question I'll ask.
Okay.
Is there any theoretical world where a sperm bank could facilitate and they say, oh, you want to do it, sex? Okay. Just curious. I'm just saying inherently, if we're being completely non-puritanical and we're saying you want to do it like you feel like it's done in the wild.
If we could have the legal infrastructure to support natural insemination to become a legal donor conception, sure, rock on.
I guess we got to figure out the sex work aspect of all of America first.
I mean, sure, if it could be like legally still. I mean, I don't know what needs to happen if there needs to be like a witness to go like, yes, this was still a donor conception. Like, I don't know what needs to happen. But yeah, like if legally we could make it sound, then sure, rock it out. But we're not in that world.
So
I think your devil's advocate was just your Italian dad. Hey,
this is what I say.
Hey,
can we have sex? Can I be with this group?
You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco Soresi.